The outrage in MAGA world continues over the Justice Department memo that there is no Jeffrey Epstein client list. But the administration is ready to change the conversation. Take a look.
Could you say why there was a minute missing from the jailhouse tape on the night of his death?
Yeah, sure.
Pam, could I just interrupt for 1 second? Are you still talking about Jeffrey Epstein? This guy's been talked about for years. You're asking, we have Texas, we have this, we have all of the things.
Yeah.
And are people still talking about this guy, this creep?
There was a minute that was off the counter, and what we learned from Bureau of Prisons was every night, they redo that video. It's old, from like 1999. So every night the video is reset, and every night should have the same minute missing. So we're looking for that video to release that as well, showing that a minute is missing every night. And that's it on Epstein.
Is that it on Epstein? I mean, is your base going to accept that? Because for forever you were saying, we're going to release all the information. We got the information and we're going to tell you. We got books, we got all kinds, we got pictures, we got stuff. And now you're saying, nothing happening here. Who? Jeffrey who?
Yeah.
We don't know who you're talking about. What is happening here?
I don't feel like we should be advertising that the Bureau of Prisons has 1 minute that is not accounted for in federal prisons.
Every single night?
Every single night around 11:59. It's basically saying if you want to do your crimes, do it then.
You got 1 minute at
That's
this
crazy.
hour.
Very sketchy. Listen, there are a lot of unanswered questions, and I said the same thing yesterday. I'll say it again. The people who are the heroes in the story, first, are victims who came forward, because that's incredibly hard to do when you've been sexually victimized by horrible, horrible men. And then the journalists who told these stories way before Jeffrey Epstein was a household name. You mentioned Julie K. Brown. She's won awards for this. She covered him before anyone knew who he was.
Years.
And she points out there are massive inconsistencies in this story. She says that the camera footage that was released by the Department of Justice, that's only one angle, that it does not account for other angles. She talks about the fact that he was given 2 mattresses and 2 blankets and allowed to sleep on the floor while no other inmates were at that time. I am not someone who dabbles in conspiracies. I think this was a bad man who deserved justice. I haven't liked the kind of rubbernecking around who's going to be involved, but there does need to be justice, and you can't promise that there's going to be and then show up this empty-handed.
And I think to your point about this 1 minute missing, listen, when I worked for the Department of Justice, you work hand in hand when there's a guilty verdict with the Bureau of Prisons, and you make recommendations. The Bureau of Prisons used to be very, very regulated. I find it very suspicious that there is a minute missing and that there's only one camera angle. I have been inside of the MDC. I've been inside of Rikers. There were cameras everywhere. So I find that the fact that there's missing documentation, that doesn't make sense. And the other thing, Trump saying, why are we still talking about Epstein? He talked about Epstein endlessly.
Well, that was my point.
Not to mention, I'm not saying that this indicates that Trump had any involvement in Epstein's crimes, but there are videos of Trump with Epstein. There are pictures with Trump with Epstein. He was on flight logs of Epstein's plane, I think 7 times. All of that has been widely reported, and all of a sudden, he doesn't want to talk aboutEpstein, and his friend is a creep, or
Well,
his
that's my
colleague.
point. All right,
I don't know, not colleague. I don't know what to say.
He calls him a creep in this particular video. By the way, he seems very defensive to me in this particular thing. But besides that, in 2002, he told New York Magazine, Trump, I've known Jeff for 15 years, terrific guy. He said, he's a lot of fun to be with. It's even said that he likes beautiful women as much as I do, and many of them are on the younger side. Okay, that's Trump. That's Trump in 2002. Today, he calls him a creep.
It's also
you guys do the math,
But
okay?
no, it is widely reported that he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago years after that. That's documented before he was in political life, before people had strong feelings about Donald Trump
That's why I don't want to call him a
politically.
friend or colleague. Maybe they had a falling out.
When Donald Trump asked, why do people still care about Epstein? There have been problems with pedophilia for years in different institutions. When you even watch The Keepers on Netflix, it was proven that it was men in power, doctors, police officers, people with money, people in the government that were part of it, which is why it was covered up. And these victims were double victimized and never found. So people like me care, not because I care who's on, I don't believe there's a list, but I don't care who it is. We need to uncover this abuse of power and this continued victimization of young people.